Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Daily Revelations. Thanks for joining me. So this morning, I'm going to be talking from Exodus 21, and we're going to dive into a bit of the law, but not really talk about the law. Just some things that God laid on my heart as I was reading through Exodus 20 and 21, and He's laying down ordinances, and it's right after the Ten Commandments. And it goes into some things about how to interact with other people, how to interact with, things that happen, incidents, basically, that happen in life. How do you deal with them? And so often when things happen in our life, we realize, was a boundary set properly or was it not? And how do we reorient our boundaries based on what we learned, what we took away from what happened? And my daughter and I have been listening to Anne of Green Gables, and I, as we were listening and driving in the car yesterday, the one thing that she said a couple times through this story that reminds me of what's so important to think about here is that she says, I mess up a lot, but at least I don't do the same thing twice. And how much do we need to be that way? We mess up. That is part of life. But what do we do to make sure that we don't do it again? Do we set the proper boundaries based on hindsight and say, I'm going to move forward and not allow what I didn't know to now affect me because I do know? And it's interesting. I've never read through Exodus 21 before and thought, I wonder how much of what these ordinances are that are being laid down are based on what has happened since they've left Egypt and the things that the people had brought to the judges that were under Moses and dealing with just everyday conflicts. And this is what God said to do because of them going to him and saying, okay, so this incident happened. What do we do now? And it just reminds me that, yes, things happen. Incidents happen. We fail. Other people will fail us. Do we then, when restitution is made, go to God and say, okay, so this is what I've learned. How do you want me to proceed? What are the boundaries? What are the ordinances that I have now the opportunity to put into my life? Because you've opened the door that this is a place where either I fail, other people will fail me, or that it's just some part of life that I need to be careful around. When we do those things, we build our boundaries and we then live in a safer and more godly context of our lives. And that's really what it's all about. It's about not repeating the same mistake twice. Because then we get in those cycles and we never go anywhere and our life never goes anywhere. Just because we fail doesn't mean that we're not going somewhere. But if we repetitively fail, we aren't going anywhere. So anyways, that's just something short and quick I had to share with you this morning from Exodus 21. Hope you just take that away and say, okay, how can I work with this today with my life? And I know I definitely am. And just want to be like Anne and say, I'm not going to repeat the same mistake twice. So have an awesome day, everybody. And I'll see you again tomorrow on Daily Revelations. Bye.